Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Matt McMillan from Pine Nine Holsters. I'm here with Doug from FishNFX. What's happening, buddy?
Oh, hanging in there, man. Been having a good weekend.
Heck yeah, man. It was very fun. So we just got back from the Outdoor Expo.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
It was a lot of positive energy. Just a good time overall. Interesting building. You know, it was one of those inflated domes, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah. You know what? Before I started doing shows there, I never even heard of an inflatable stadium before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Well, and it's funny because my son actually was playing lacrosse in one this same weekend.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, I talked to him while I'm at the show, and he's like, "Dad, you wouldn't believe this building I was in." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's it like?" And he goes, "It's a big bubble. They inflate it." I'm like, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Bud, you're not going to believe this." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "That's the kind of building I'm in right now."
Did you FaceTime him?
No, it was a phone call afterwards, but it was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. So you make a product. What is your product?
Yeah, so I build fishing rods.
Yeah.
I've been building fishing rods for about 15 years. Been in business for about 10. And in 2022, I actually placed in the top 10 in the world in the International Rod Building Championship, and started getting a lot of orders. So
that's cool.
Decided to come out with kind of like mass production product line, because a lot of the orders everyone was wanting was a high quality custom rod, but really nothing custom about it. They didn't want any of the artwork or anything like that. Just this rod that I'm going to make them that performs really well with high end stuff. And I was like, I can do this a lot more
you brought
streamlined.
one with you?
What's that?
You brought one with you, right?
I did, yeah. Actually, I brought a spinning and a casting.
All right. I'll dodge it if it comes my way.
All right.
So, yeah, tell me a little bit about this thing. I know I held it, and this thing is light. It seems really durable.
Yeah, so it's actually on a Japanese Toray carbon fiber blank. So it's incredibly strong, light, and sensitive. So that's really nice for the way that it can load up. And but even like when it's nice and light, you're feeling every little bit of everything.
Right. Oh, just so you know, when he was showcasing this thing to me, he put the thing up to his throat, the tip of it, and put it up to. I've never seen this before. He put the tip up to the throat and had me hold it, and then he hummed, and he says, "You could feel it."
Yeah, you can feel like every little vibration on it.
That's pretty cool.
Which yeah, because you think about it, how often are you getting hit that you don't even know? Right. And until you feel it, then you realize. Or if you can tell the difference in the size of gravel, how big the rocks are that you're going over, you can change your presentation so that you can kind of fish a little bit better.
That's really interesting. I never thought about that. I mean, you can find the terrain and figure out. Yeah,
it's like sonar for your fingertips. I mean, if you're pulling a little craw bait over fine rocks, you're not going to be jumping it around. You want it to kind of just crawl.
Right.
But if you're going over bigger boulders,
you hop a little bit.
You want to let it hop a little bit. And when I say bigger, I mean it can be not that big of a difference, but it's going to change the way that it's going to have to go over it to make it look more natural.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That is really cool.
Yeah. And part of that sensitivity comes from the reel seat. That's where people keep their hands. So at least the people who are looking to buy one of my rods, they're not really holding the handle. They're holding the reel seat, and it's a injectable carbon fiber. It's called a CCT.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, compressed carbon technology, and it is like a moldable carbon fiber, and it's really cool. And I didn't go with a decorative locking nut. I see so many where they look cool, but it'll be like cut out metal. And I've had so many anglers tell me how those cut their hands while they're holding it. And I've seen guys with tape around their fingers because while they're fishing, it's just digging into them. And they're fishing all day, every day.
Right.
So it's just never
same
healing.
motion, same spot. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
and other ones that were like the little thing will pop off and slide up and down the rod, and
Right.
I wanted something that was comfortable in your hand, sensitive and functional. It'll stay tight,
That's pretty
and,
cool.
And that's why I went with the EVA as well, because by the time you are holding it, you want something that you're going to get a good grip on, and that is comfortable.
Is it? Can I mind if I hold it again?
Go ahead.
Oh man, I forgot how light this was. This is awesome. So you had talked a little bit about your eyelets, right? You did some special things to your eyelets too, right?
Yeah, so these are the American Tackle Microwave Guides. They've actually won more awards in the fishing industry than anything else.
Yeah.
And the ones that I am getting from them have a nanolite ring with a nanoplasma coating. So it's harder than silica carbide with a lower friction coefficient. It actually is diamond polished, and the type of material they use on it is what they use on like industrial strength drill bits. So you don't have to worry about your braided line with silt in it,
Right.
causing abrasion on the guides. They're going to hold up and last over time.
Yeah, you totally went way more scientific than my knowledge on these things. But you build them. I do not build them. That's pretty awesome, man. So what do you got written here? This is awesome.
So that's the rod specs.
Yep,
And I've actually had a
perfect.
lot of people tell me that they appreciate how much info I put on for the rod specs.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people just say medium. And then, it's like, well, is that the action? Is that the
right.
weight?
This is moderate, fast action. And then, yeah, so you got 7 foot, 6 inches, 10, 20. This is great, man.
Yeah, and that 10 to 20, I'm a little on the conservative side with the ratings.
Yeah.
Because on that simulator, we push them to the limit. And we were snapping 45-pound test on it repeatedly.
Really?
But, we were going for fish that you are just not meant to catch with this at all.
Right.
But
you're testing for longevity even by going with strength.
exactly. You know how it is with when you're making something, you have to be the one pushing it to the edge.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. No, I totally understand. So with the fishing rod holsters, I actually went straight to Kydex, which was a gun holster.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that stuff's wicked durable.
Beautiful material.
It is.
And just
versatile
and beautiful prints.
Yeah.
You've gotten some awesome designs.
Yeah. So I actually get these from another source, but I mold them. I do all that stuff here. But I know I get it. It's like I kind of went like with the really good stuff right off the bat because that's what I'm used to working with. But of course, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
But
if you want quality things.
One of my company's mottos is quality does not compromise.
That's right.
And I have it on all my jerseys and jackets. It's just if you want to do it well, you need to do it well.
That's right. Yeah. Anything worth doing can't be done overnight. Or in layman's terms, it's going to take a couple seconds. It's probably not really worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. I like that. That's very cool. I wanted to tell you. You talked about your kids a little bit. So you mentioned you have a boy. He was in the Hampshire Dome with lacrosse, right? And you have a girl
a
too?
different dome.
Okay.
Because
another dome. Yeah.
Yeah, but and I have a daughter as well, and she loves theater and stuff like that. And she had an audition this weekend, so I'm
Very
excited
cool.
to find out what she got.
Do both of them like any outdoor activities? Like they go out and go hiking or anything?
Absolutely, and my son plays every sport under the sun.
That's pretty
You know,
cool.
he's a starter on the football team. He plays lacrosse, basketball, he just golf, everything. You know.
That's really cool. So, as a dad, I know it's almost like we're pre-programmed. We want literally the best for our kids. We want to guide them in certain ways, right? If there were two things that you would love to instill in your child as probably some of the best assets as they're growing into themselves. What would you say that is? And I know that's a tough question.
Probably compassion and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like,
Yeah.
I think with those two, they would be able to go far. Or you think of like Solomon. He wanted knowledge and the foresight to lead his people well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think those kind of go hand in hand. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for mine, I have a daughter, and she loves to go fishing and, you know, going to the range. I'm really proud of her with that, you know, especially at the range. She does really well.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I think there's in my world, there's a lot I'd love to teach her. It would be a very tough thing for me to narrow it down to a couple things, but if I were to say, you know, a couple right off the bat is patience and never stop learning.
Yeah.
Those two, you know, because if they have the mentality that they don't know it all, they could become very successful in mind, body, spirit, financially, externally, and project it onto other people.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's probably what I would do. Yeah. It's pretty tough when you start thinking about that as a dad and operating businesses. You're just like, there's a lot going on.
Oh, absolutely. and like you said, it's hard to narrow it down to just a couple because
It is.
we want everything for them, right?
Right,
And we want them
everything,
to be strong in every area.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how you mentioned that you take her to the range. My kids also are well educated
Very
in many
good.
areas, and my son has made a few videos giving safety instructions at the range and stuff like that. You
That's
know,
really
the proper
awesome.
techniques and so that everything's safe the entire time. And
Yeah.
just I think it's important to be strong.
Yeah.
And then you can be peaceful, you
Yep.
know. But
I 100% agree with that. And a lot of people gear it toward just boys, but it goes with girls too. They actually have to
Absolutely.
be a little bit stronger.
absolutely
You know, she just started taking jiu-jitsu,
nice.
and I decided I'm going to do it with her.
Yeah,
You know, so we grow stronger together. And it's I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. You know, as we kind of I feel weird being the only adult in there as a white belt while I'm like surrounded by kids. Hey, you know what? I'll play along.
It reminds me of Seinfeld when Kramer was in there with his white belt and just like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, Jerry, the little fists were coming from everywhere.
Now, they've taken a pretty good concentration on me. They take me off to the side. The adult is
Yeah.
like, all right, because they know, and I get really technical with it. It's like I want to know exactly where this muscle fiber is actually moving. I want to see how you do it. You know, just all right. Bear with me. I'm slow in the
If you're
beginning.
going to do it right,
I
you
have to.
should do it right.
Yeah, take it slow. I don't want to learn everything all at once. It's just, and then I bring it home. I practice.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Practice makes perfect. At least better.
It's been a long time for me since I've done any jiu-jitsu, but yeah, I used to wrestle varsity and then got into a bunch of mixed martial arts. And,
That's really cool, man.
and now I'm just
Yeah.
big and tired.
It tends to happen.
You
Yeah.
know?
When you get older, things happen. Doesn't it? So we just got back from the New Hampshire Outdoor Expo at the Hampshire Dome, and he's taken some time out to join us. And we wanted to touch base and let everybody know why we do expos, like going to the trade shows and the expos and showcasing all of our gear.
Yeah, and so, I mean, the easy answer would be to sell product, right? I mean, you do want to go out there, you want to get sales, and you want to get that branding and marketing. But really, I mean, there's lots of ways of doing that. I think the biggest thing is like the people. Being able to connect with people in general, whether it's your new customer base or people you've had for a long time, or just walking by, maybe they will never be a customer,
Right.
but you get to just connect with everybody in that area, and I think there's a real big value to that.
Right, I agree. there's a thing in sales where it's really about exposure, and people don't usually buy something on the first exposure. Maybe it's like something they see and then they think about and then they see it again. And I think there's like a rule of 7, right? Sometimes it takes up to like 7 times for somebody to really engage with the product, right? Especially if it's something new. But to your point though, it's really not about making sales, at the event. It really isn't. It's to me and you, it's really about connecting with those people, connecting with people and seeing all of your past customers and kind of giving you a real time review of your product and how it's helped them or made their fishing experience better.
Absolutely, and it also just kind of kicks off the season in general too. People are coming out from the winter.
That's so
Spring's
true.
right around the corner, and they get to feel that energy to get back into the aspect of it that we all love, the outdoors, the hunting, the fishing, what have you. Even if you're just, going on the kayak and not doing either, but like anything that's getting you outside is something positive in my mind. And I like to help facilitate that energy, that excitement in people that they can be ready for it,
Yeah. It's, as somebody who went to it only one time before as a guest, this was before I knew anything about it, right? And I walked in and I'm like, this is cool. It's actually a really good experience from a customer aspect.
Yeah.
You're walking in and it's just so much to look at, so many people. You run into people that you're like, hey, how's it going, man? I didn't know you were coming to this, and then there's that product of discovery. How are companies doing things differently than they did last year or what other competitors are doing,
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's it is great, coming to those things. The other thing that I really like about it is the camaraderie of it, right? I mean, you come in there, I'm meeting people like you, that have something in common. We're all there as almost like this family, and we're trying to serve people in like the same kind of arena. And even just being on this podcast with you, this is really cool, man.
Absolutely. I've been fishing my whole life. I was starting to melt lead with my grandfather at like the age of 6 and pouring jigs at 8. I started tying flies at 10 and got into rod building about 15 years ago. But I remember the first time I went to ICAST. I'd been to a bunch of outdoor shows before, but I went to ICAST, which is like the world's largest tackle trade show down in Orlando. And when I walked through those doors and saw that trade show and just how big it was, all the new products, the whole fishing industry in one room, I just had this moment. I'm like, this is what I have to do. And I mean, I've always known, not always known, but once I started building rods, I just knew that like I had to build rods.
Is that the biggest like outdoor or fishing show?
Yeah, so it's not like an outdoor show. It's a trade show. So there's some outdoor shows that are larger, but ICAST is the fishing industry.
Right.
So everybody who works in the fishing industry goes there.
Very cool.
And it's where you meet like wholesalers and retailers, whereas an outdoor show is more the customer base.
I got you.
So at the outdoor shows, you sell direct. At ICAST, they're just kind of showing off their products. So you walk around, and yes, while people are trying to sell, they're not necessarily trying to sell to you so much as to stores. And if you're not a store, then they'll still show off the product and stuff. But it's a different vibe.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's more business than
it is. You write orders. You don't expect to buy something and take it home so much as to have an order written, and
Interesting.
it'll show up in a month or two or what have you.
Interesting.
But yeah, I was just blown away by it, and like, this is what I have to do. I have to do this and be a part of this. And that was when I wanted to take, my custom rod building to kind of the next level.
Right.
Like doing one-ofs is great, and I love the artwork. I love the aspect of it, but that just put it in a whole nother frame of mind for me that it was time to take it to the next level.
So how long have you actually been building rods? Like,
About
when did the journey
15
start?
years ago.
15 years? All right. So when you started it, I would imagine the amount of research just to get started was, probably took you at least a year and a half to really understand the landscape of things, roughly?
Well,
if I were to guess.
I kind of started just doing it as a bit of a hobby. So it was maybe like a couple months of looking into it.
Okay.
Got the stuff, and the first rod I built for my grandfather, and I built that first rod 4 different times because it costs as much to build a rod as it does to buy a rod.
Right.
In fact, odds are you're going to spend more building it, and that's not even counting the materials you need, like the rod wrapper or the glues and the epoxies and all that. You're going to spend a fair amount on that stuff.
Right.
But if you were just getting the materials, because you're buying one of everything, it ends up being about the same as if you were to just buy the rod.
Yeah.
So because of the cost of it, I think my first rod cost me $120 in materials, maybe 150, and that's not counting the other tools.
Right.
So I made sure to build it as best I could, and before I put the epoxy on to seal it in, I'm like, okay, cut the guides off, do it again, and then measure it a little better, mark it a little differently, bend it, and make sure. And this was before I was even on Facebook, so I was hitting up the forums, in these little niche rod building groups, because there was much less people doing it back then. Right. So
I can imagine.
You were trying to get info anywhere you could. And I was very fortunate that one of my now good friends, who ended up being like a mentor to me, Don Morse, was on that forum, and he helped me with so much information on how to build rods and everything. And I don't know where I would be without that assistance. And that's one thing I can say about the rod building community, is the camaraderie is awesome. You just get so many amazing people who are willing to help. Everyone thinks everyone's competitors and stuff. And maybe a little more so on the business side of it. But as far as the rod building community,
it's like that in fishing, outdoors. I mean, everybody seems to want to be able to help other people, no matter what. I mean,
absolutely,
especially as business people. I mean, we know the struggle is hard. We know the struggles we had to go through in all aspects of business, and to shorten the waste of time for other people that just want to try it. It is something that we always aspire to do. Really,
I think, one, we're either paying back someone who helped us indirectly.
That's true.
Or
it's totally true.
Like just trying to help in the hopes that other person can help someone else. And maybe it's both at the same time, but just that, like, look, I don't have to receive something back initially from this individual, but maybe I've already gotten something from somebody else, and now it's my turn to give back. Or
100%.
Just knowing that helping that person, they'll then want to help someone else. That just energy multiplies. So it's best to put that positive energy out there and hope that multiplies.
Very cool. So when you're doing a show, right, if you can think back, how long have you been doing like the expos, right? So for example, the New England Outdoor Expo or the New Hampshire Outdoor Expo.
So for those are some good size ones. So I mean, compared to like some of the like local venue ones.
Yeah, like
what I mean,
when was your first one?
There's kind of a difference between doing your local fire department, like I don't want to say flea market, but like where they have the craft fairs and stuff.
Yep.
So there's a big difference between something like that and like the expos that like we were just at that are just amazing in size, and now that you're asking me, I'm not even sure how long I've been doing those outdoor shows because it's been so long.
Well, the reason why I ask is, I'm looking to see if you can recall the one show that you did or the one expo that, you've had a customer that just kind of, when they're talking about your product and they blew you away to the point where it was like, I could do this totally different. And it changes the way that you make your rods or present your rods or, any way that they had changed in the way you think about, serving your customers. It's kind of a loaded question because every time there is a little something you gain.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one in particular because, I'm sure you get this too. There's just so many. Mm-hmm. And, one of the big things for me is... while I'm selling my rods, I'm, trying to get them just to be active in the outdoors.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if out of all the years that you've done expos and all different kinds of events, if there's been a time where you've had a customer or even just a guest of the show, come up to you and maybe give you a tip or had a question that kind of changed the way you do things. It was almost groundbreaking and made, this alternative way of doing things or the result of your product. Have you ever had anything like that?
I remember I've done a lot of different tackle stuff and I used to make a lot of jigs as well as rods and other stuff. And I remember before I was really selling rods at shows because I was kind of newer to the custom rod business. And I was also making a lot of like really ornate rods. And being one-ofs, I didn't have rods to sell at the show. But I wanted to bring them so that if someone wanted a custom rod, they can order it for me. Because I'm a big believer in that custom means that the order was placed and then it was made.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't view it as custom.
Right, exactly.
And so being a custom rod builder, I would bring my personal rods there and sell jigs to pay for the booth so that I could advertise that this is the artwork I can do. Mm-hmm. If you would like a rod made by me, I can take an order while you're here and build you a rod and mail it to you. But selling the jigs was what was paying for it, and I ended up getting a lot of feedback from people that they loved the jigs. But I just remember one of the first times when someone sent me a message while I was still at the show. So they bought the jig like midday Friday, and Saturday at I'm sitting at the booth and I get a message and I just checked it real quick, and they sent me a picture of the fish with the jig in its mouth, and it goes, the writing was, "I just caught my personal best."
That's awesome.
And he was so excited. It came with like a book. He wrote me a book about how excited he was, and he just caught his personal best. And he had.
So wait, just to summarize that, you had a customer come in and he bought something from you.
Yes.
And then the same day he used it before the show was even concluded, he posted and said it was his
He
personal
bought it
best.
Friday. He went fishing Saturday. I'm
That's
still at the
amazing.
show, and a lot of times for Friday shows, they're a bit slower, and it's a little more casual. And then Saturday it gets kind of busy, but so on a slow day he came, and then Saturday the busy day I get the message, and I'm busy at the show, but I'm just sitting there trying to read this thing because I got so excited.
That's wicked funny.
Yeah.
I love that, man. That's really cool. I think the one for me is I think so there might be a cut here, but so if I were to think back at some of the expos or shows that I've done, where a customer has actually made a huge impact, was the first time somebody asked me if I did surf rods, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to touch surf rods with this kind of a product, because some people will think that you just leave the line in the water, and that's not really what it's about, But they were talking about the sand getting into their reels, and some of these things are really expensive.
Yes.
These reels are real expensive.
Yeah.
And pun intended. So, I was like, you know what? I totally understand what they're saying. All right. It would have to be tough. It would have to be rugged. And this was actually after last year's Outdoor Expo, the New Hampshire Outdoor Expo. And, right after the show, I came up with a different design that would cater to all of those. And we have it coming out very soon. It may have gone out just after this probably airs.
Awesome.
I'm super excited about this. Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles. You guys have to figure it out after or before, whenever this is. You'll figure it out. But it is. I mean, the people that come to these expos, their input is super valuable. Whether they pass by and they say they're not interested, that's a point, right? Whether they come by, they never heard of it before, or they don't understand what language you're speaking, with your product and all the features.
Yeah.
It helps you articulate, what those points are and why it matters and how it helps them.
And it's actually interesting that you say that, because I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but the first time I saw your holster was on social media, and I was just thinking, why would I want a holster for my fishing rod? I want to hold my fishing rod.
Right.
And then later, I saw a video you did, and you put the rod in the holster to take the hook out of the fish's mouth with pliers,
Right.
so that it wouldn't be on the bottom of the boat or in the dirt. And I was like, oh my goodness, how did I not because I had originally just seen the product, and then when I saw that video, I was like, how did I not put two and two together that's what it was for? And I just, it's a great point of, getting that feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that just is what made it click for me, that this is awesome. You spend a lot of money on your rod and your reel and your line, and you don't want that stuff getting in the sand and getting destroyed.
No, it's, it is. I mean, so your rods, you have time and care in it. No matter what your process is, you have time and care in it invested well before any point of sale or even the material configuration of that current one right there. I mean, that's it's a special thing. A lot of it, if there was a lot more energy involved in it, it becomes a pretty valuable piece, not even just monetarily, but just energy wise.
Absolutely.
That went into it. And I know if I'm buying a rod, I mean, what's your average cost for your rod, if you don't mind me asking?
So for the Gold Series, we sell them for $295 online.
Yeah.
And we have it set up so people can buy them in store for $275, because I don't ever want to compete with the mom and pop shops. I want them to do well.
Yeah. I mean, so for a lot of people, that's a pretty good expense.
Oh, absolutely.
I know if I was spending that kind of money, and I understand the energy and care it took to produce that item, I'd want to take good care of it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're making that investment, because you're not just investing in the rod, you're investing in your recreation, your time outside, the time with your family. I mean, how many hours a day do you work?
Right.
How many hours a day do you
yeah.
get to get outside and actually go fishing?
Yep.
And you think about how much money you spend on all the other stuff. When you do finally have the opportunity to make those memories with your kids.
Yep. Yeah, it's super valuable.
And now, and more on the custom side for me, I made my kids custom rods ever since they were born. They were a little spoiled in that regard, but so be it, But
I think we touched a little bit on that the other night.
Yeah, but so my son the one time, and he was little, so he jumped out of the car, and he didn't want to be going fishing this day. It's tough when you have a dad who is a custom rod builder. You fish maybe a little too often at times, but he jumped out and slammed his door, and right on the tip.
Yep.
And and I say right on the tip. It wasn't even on the tip. It was almost in half, and I got a little upset, and I know I shouldn't let it bother me, but it was in the moment, and the rod broke, and I'm like, oh, come on, man,
Right.
and he goes, it's okay, Dad, you can just fix it, because I did a lot of rod repairs, and I was a little hot-headed in the moment, and no, I can't, it's ruined, it's totally broken, and how dare you say that, you don't respect it, and it takes so much effort to make it, and I said to him, and Bud, it's not about the rod. It's not about, the cost.
Yeah, you can't.
It's the memories.
Yeah,
this is the one when I made for you when we were up with your Jaju. Yeah. We were fishing on this vacation, and while we were on vacation, I made it for you for those fish, and we caught this fish on it and that fish on it, and all these times.
Yeah, and
I did end up repairing it.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing, because they're not too deep into it yet.
Yeah.
In understanding that stuff, and in the end, your memories are actually stored elsewhere. But it's one of those things. You do want to protect your rod. Because it's an investment. Because it is, like we were talking about the other night. Where it may be a piece of equipment, but there is memories tied to it.
Yeah.
It's you might as well have a picture on it somewhere. Or multiple pictures.
Exactly.
How many trips you've gone on, and all the memories of bringing in that fish, or remember this fish, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of protecting rods, do you have a rod yet? A rod holster yet?
I don't. I was actually going to talk to you about buying one from you, because I was seeing them at the show.
You
and
don't have to buy one, my friend. You know what? I want to give you this one.
Nice. Thank you.
Heck yeah, man.
This is going to get a lot of use.
You're right. You would put it on your right side, right?
Yes.
I'm just assuming. All right.
For the spinning rods, I use them on the right.
Perfect, man. Do you ever bait cast?
I do.
All right.
For bait casters, I'm ambidextric.
Yeah. So with bait caster, it doesn't go into the groove like the spinners do. That groove, actually, for anybody who's watching this, can I see that one moment?
Yeah.
For anybody that's watching this, the groove isn't actually a lock. Not a lot of people understand that. It's not to lock your pistol. I don't want to say pistol because I've been talking guns all day. It's not to lock your fishing rod in there. But what that is actually if you have your reel arm on the inside, that is keeping it away from your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not digging into you. Not that it's too much pressure, but it helps protect the rod even further by keeping it that safe distance and not sticking way out either.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because otherwise it end up getting snagged on stuff while it's out there.
It may be a miscommunication on my part, but not many people actually realize that. So the bait caster actually sits on top, on this lip. So even if you bend down, it's not going to fall out.
I love it, man.
Yeah, buddy. You got to send some photos.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of them.
Yeah, man. So I actually noticed some when I passed by your booth at the New Hampshire Outdoor Expo. I saw this guy fighting with something. Right, I saw him fighting, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? What is this thing that he's got here?
I was gonna say, when you were coming by, he was I don't want to say he was struggling, but
Yeah.
he definitely had to earn that one because he was looking into buying a saltwater rod. I wanted to show him like how durable they are, so we
Right.
really
Okay, so
turned
that's
the
what it's
volume
for.
up.
All right.
Yeah, so I have a fishing simulator that I bring with me to the outdoor shows, and it's kind of dual purpose. So. One, I want to show people how strong the rods are because they're so light that people don't think they're really going to hold up.
So I'm actually going to describe what it looks like. I don't know if we have a video somewhere that we can dig up that we can put on here, but it's like this little, in my perception, it's like this little dustbuster robot kind of thing, but it's like painted like blue or something, right? And it looks like it's supposed to be really heavy. I'm assuming it is heavy.
Yeah,
right?
I think it weighs like 75
Got to be if
pounds.
you're pulling this thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's got like this shaft inside that is wounding the fishing line and is doing all kinds of weird things, mimicking a fish fighting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a self-automated electronic winch,
Right.
that
So it's actually
simulates
you
the
have to-
fight of a fish, and it does the whole head shakes and the runs, and it'll take the drag.
That's pretty cool.
And it's great because you can show off the strength of the rods, and people really dig into it.
That's awesome.
But
You ever have somebody move it?
no, because I test it beforehand. I have seen it move, but I don't know if you noticed, but I bring these giant lead bars as well that I put in front of it. I have a rubber mat it's on, and I make
did
sure it's
see
not
that.
going anywhere. But as great as it is to show off the rods and stuff like that, one thing I really love about it is I have kids using it all day long, every day.
They get excited because it mimics the real thing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it reminds them of that pull because you think about it, we're wanting to get everybody back into the outdoors.
Yeah.
It's been winter for however long, and having the kids come in and get excited about it is just awesome. Then when their dad asks or mom asks them next time, like, hey, you want to go out fishing, they're going to be thinking of that time they just caught the fish at the outdoor show.
Right. Yeah.
And like, yeah, that was fun. Let's go do that again.
And then to mimic it in real life, I mean,
Yeah.
and everybody knows that feeling. Everybody knows when that thing gets, your bait gets nabbed,
absolutely.
and you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And with your rods being, so sensitive, I mean, that has to amplify the feeling.
Yeah, I mean, really, I show them a bunch of different ways on how they're sensitive, because when you're fighting the fish, you're feeling the power of it, you're feeling the bend, you're seeing the action, the curvature of the blank, how the guides are properly spaced, so there's no dips in the line. But I will show them in a couple of different ways how sensitive it is. I'll kind of put it up to my throat at times and just talk very quietly, and they go, "Oh my goodness, I felt everything you just said in my fingers." And it's a great way to show them that as you're pulling something across the bottom, you can kind of tell the difference in the structure that you're going over, or if you had a hit, I tell them, how many hits did you have that you never even knew were there, and you don't know until you switch it up, and all of a sudden you're noticing you're getting hit so much more often.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's one thing when something hits it and it pulls and tugs right away, but what if it's coming towards you? Can you tell the difference of an 1/8 ounce no longer being there?
No.
And that's where I really feel it plays a key
and then
role.
it takes a turn, and then it's like, whoa.
So my friend who fishes these rods, who's a much better fisherman than me, I will say, says he can tell a fish is chasing it from behind before it hits it.
Really?
Because of the difference of the flow in the water over the bait. Again, I can't, but I've seen him call it out, which is crazy, because we'll be on it and he'll be using a retrieve and he goes, something's following it. It's getting closer. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's on. And I'm like, how did you know a
That's
fish
pretty
was
crazy.
swimming behind it before it hits it? And he's done
That's
it
like
with jigging.
That's a superpower. Right
And
there.
he'll say, "Oh, his dorsal fin just went over the line.
Yeah.
I felt it touch the line." And I'm like, seriously? Like, his ability's better than mine, you know?
You know, my friends have they kind of get mad at me when I go fishing with them because I do catch a lot. I have a buddy. He actually lives on a river, right?
Yeah.
It flows right through his property, and you know I come over there often. Sometimes I'll camp by, and you know every time I come there, they get upset because I catch all the fish, and it's true. I mean, I don't know if I just know how to tease a fish.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what the bait is. Normally, I just use regular like meal earthworms, right?
Yeah.
And I'll cut them in half, so it's literally just something on there.
Yeah.
You know, it's super sloppy about it, but I know how to tease them. I know how to get it into the right spot with the flow of the water.
Yeah.
And then I can almost call it out like that, right? But it has to, you know, I get thrown off sometimes with the temperature. You know,
Right.
Temperature. I'm not paying any mind to the temperature in time of day. Right. So if I can nail that down, they'll be even more upset at me.
There you go. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that most of my friends are better fishermen than me. I'm a decent
That's all
fisherman.
right.
I do catch a fair amount of fish.
You're providing them with the tool.
But and that's what I tell them. They go, "You're the coach," you know. Like
Yeah. It's your secret way
I'm
of,
like, don't
claiming
expect me to run it into the end zone, but I'll tell you how to get there.
Right. You give them the rod. It's your secret way of claiming their victory.
Exactly. But it definitely helps though when you know you're friends with the only person in the world with all the royal slams and these guys who are fishing nationals over and over again. So it makes me feel better knowing that they're not just beating me; they're also beating like everybody else. you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, this has really been awesome, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on, and you know, as a guest to the show.
Dude, I appreciate you having me. Not just tonight, but the other night and
Yeah, of
us
course,
meeting up.
man.
It was a great time, great show, and
Yeah.
I gotta thank Dan Kenny
Yeah, he
for
did a
putting
great
the
job.
show on. He's an amazing
And
individual.
all the guys working with him too. I mean,
Everybody.
they've been with him as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
And they work hard. They get it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ryan came by. He was helping out my booth, and just a lot of great individuals.
Yeah. Yep. So awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Doug from FishNFX. Thank you
you.
guys. Thank you for coming on to the show. And guys, remember, keep your guns oiled and your fishing lines fresh. Take care, guys.